G'day folks, it's Rob here. It's been a bit of a mad, hectic week this week. I tried to do the ginger harvest video. I've got the video almost finished right up to the harvest point, but then we got some rain. So I've had to postpone that, and I'll probably pull the ginger out of the pouches tomorrow or Tuesday. So that video will be edited and up next weekend. So hit that little subscribe button and jump on over to the bell icon if you want a notification when that one arrives. Likewise for any of the aquaponics videos when they're uploaded to the channel here. It's getting a little bit late, a little bit tired, shall we say. We helped clean out some more bits and pieces from Dad's shed today. I brought a couple of benches home, and this week's actually been rather flat out. I've been re-editing some videos for the guides, which are coming soon as well, hopefully the first week of August. So yeah, there'll be a video explaining more about them coming in the next week or so. So yeah, just really haven't had a lot of time to do a video. So what I thought I'd do is just run through a couple of questions from recent aquaponics videos. So first off, Doggo. I like the mineralisation tank, Rob. Do you add anything else to the tank to supplement before adding back to the beds? Well, we haven't got that far quite yet. There's only one lot of solids in there still because the fish really haven't been eating enough. I'll probably clean out the radial flow settler next weekend and add another batch in there. To begin with, I won't be adding anything into their mineralisation tank. Normally you add a carbon source, which is fuel for the bacteria. So then they go through the other organic matter, break it down further into plant available elements. I may do so down the line. Typically what people do is they'll add something like an unsulfured molasses because it's rich in other minerals, plus it's got the carbon in there in the form of sugars. One of the other things a lot of people will add is just straight sugar because it adds the carbon. And I've also been told in the past to add flour in there because it's a complex carbohydrate. It gives the bacteria energy, plus there's other elements in there as well. That's something I want to look into a bit deeper first. But yeah, you can add things in there, and I will be in the future. But just because there's not enough waste in there at the moment, I won't be adding anything in. So I hope that helps you, and a few other people have asked about that as well. Scrolling down here further, I was also asked quickly about the wattage of the heater in the fish tank. It's only a 500 watt. I know some people will throw 2000 watts in there. We do have a back to grid solar system on the house, but I really don't want to chew up too much electricity. So we've got the 500 watt in there. It's actually been running for the last couple of weeks because we've actually had a proper winter this year. So the temperatures have been down a bit, and I'm trying to keep them above 16 degrees Celsius if I can. Mainly because it puts less stress on the fish. The jade perch that we run here are from a warmer region here in Australia, in Queensland actually. So I try to keep it a little bit more like their natural habitat, and yeah, hopefully the solar system will be helping to subsidize that. On to the next one after I scroll down and find it. Here we go, here's one from Jonathan on the mineralisation tank. It would be so cool if you could take a couple of finished products, meaning the water from the mineralisation tank, evaporate it and see how much mineral is dissolved. Well, we can actually do a water test, and that's something I am planning to do. Matthias over on Aquaponics Anonymous group on Facebook, he's posted a couple of results from his. He shows what the water nutrient level is like in the system, and then also in his mineralisation tank once all the solids have settled out of it. He runs his system a little bit differently though. He's decoupled, so his fish water and plant water is totally separate, so that's why he definitely takes advantage of the mineralisation process. So he has found a bit of a difference. Here in Australia, the water tests, the hydroponic water tests, are a little bit more expensive, and they may not necessarily pick up all the elements that are here in the aquaponic system, but I will be doing a comparison between the two. Once we get the mineralisation tank happening properly and get a couple of batches of solids through there, probably towards mid-spring when the fish start eating a lot more. Back to the comments. DK's Follies has suggested that I mix in a little bit of garden soil or compost in with the system just to add in some extra elements and bits and pieces. I did do some worm castings early on with our very first system, but once the feed rate went up in the fish tank, I noticed we weren't having any deficiency, so it's something I stopped doing. I keep looking at the wrong section of the phone. Sorry if it looks a bit skew-whiff in the video, folks. But yeah, when we get the mineralisation tank up and running good and proper with a lot of solids in there, I will be adding in a little bag of worm castings just to add in a few different microorganisms to help populate the brew. Hopefully it will be aerated enough to keep them well and happy. And yeah, so they will be making it into the system that way. So that's one thing I'm thinking about doing. And also too, I was asked about adding rock dust and rock minerals in there. That is something that I've already done with the grow beds themselves. I've added a handful of activated rock dust or rock minerals in there. Basically they come inoculated with microorganisms already to help break the minerals down and make them plant available. So that's something I might do in the biodigester, or I might just keep every now and then adding a couple of handfuls in the bed. There were some added in there just recently before I noticed the deficiencies, but they didn't actually correct it. So I'm thinking it may be better off to put them in the mineralisation tank, and hopefully the microbiology in the brew tank will break them down a little bit further so they become plant available. So we'll move on over now to the new filter in the aquaponics video comments. A lot of people actually, straight off the bat, a lot of people have suggested that the new cone-shaped filter be buried down, and that way I wouldn't have to worry about chopping the top off or anything like that. The only problem is right here where we are, we're on concrete. So while I could do that if I was out in the old, where the old system was set up, I could remove some pavers and dig a hollow down and create a little bit of a sump area around the base for the pump. I'm not going to jackhammer up the little patio out the back here. Other people have suggested chopping a bit of the top of it off. That's not really something I want to do either. I don't want to disfigure the filter at this point in time because yeah, it may be perfectly fine for the new system once it goes in down there. Whiteheart has said, I know it can be a pain, but you can drain your tank down, add a couple of layers of bricks to raise it up, that's the fish tank, and then plumb in the solids filter from there. I could do that. But hopefully this system won't be here in a couple of months' time. As soon as the landscaper sends us the invoice, we're going to pay off the whatever we need done there, get the driveway sorted out, and then once that's done, we are looking at buying a new cover for the aquaponics area so we can put in a proper floor and set up a proper couple actually of aquaponic systems there. Not that this one isn't a proper one. I would just like to lay it out to make it a lot easier for folks to understand rather than coupling things on like the biofilter at a later date. I like to have it all laid out in a nice chain so everyone can understand how it's done. But yeah, when I design the new area, the layout for the new area, I'm either thinking about making platforms for the tanks to sit higher just to make it easier, more gravity flow, or I might consider building little wells, sump wells with drainage in them down the base just to put the pumps in for the filters so we can pump them out when the time comes. So something on the cards, you'll all see it if you subscribe to the channel and when I upload the videos later on down the track, I suppose. I've also been asked, isn't this chlorosis due to iron deficiency? No, there's a number of elements that can cause iron deficiency. The three major ones would be iron, magnesium, and also nitrate. If there wasn't enough ammonia or nitrate in the system, that can also cause chlorosis of leaves as well. So it's just not iron. I have seen on a number of Facebook groups, as soon as someone shows chlorosis on a leaf, that's basically yellowing in between the veins. People will throw up their hands and say it's iron, it's iron, it's iron. Not necessarily. If it's on new growth, that's a pretty good indication that it's iron, because iron is an immobile nutrient, meaning that once it's in a leaf, the plant can't move it from that leaf to another. So the older leaves will be nice and dark. The newer leaves will look like, you know, they're yellowing in between the veins, intervenual chlorosis. Magnesium, however, is a mobile element. So in the older leaves, the plant will move it from there into the newer leaves because it wants to protect the newer growth. So you'll end up with chlorosis on the older leaves. So that's a pretty good indication if you know whether it's iron or magnesium. If it's in the newer leaves, it's iron, and in the older leaves, it's magnesium. So yeah, it's not always iron. So yeah, it just depends on where it shows up on the plant. Nitrogen deficiency is just a basic yellowing all over. So there you go. Hope that helps you out. So there you go, folks. Hopefully I've been looking at the right place on the back of the phone. It's facing the other way, so I can't even see if I'm in focus. But I do hope those answers and responses to comments have helped a few of you folks out. Do keep in mind, I will have that ginger harvesting video next week for you folks who are into soil gardening or container growing. And yeah, I'll pretty much will leave it there. Once again, thanks to the supporters who are supporting us through the Farm Your Own Yard and the YouTube membership program, and to everyone who comes along every week and leaves a comment down below and thumbs up the clips. I will pretty much will leave it there. And I was going to say that I'm absolutely buggered, but apparently, yeah, that colloquialism doesn't come across too well in some countries out there. So I'll say I'm rather tired. I'm going up for some dinner and edit the clip, and I'll see you next video. Cheers, folks. Have a top one.